Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Welcome to Movies on the Brain, where we explore the magic of the silver screen. I'm Jason, and today we're stepping into the winter wonderland with a review of the 1994 remake of Miracle on 34th Street. Directed by Les Mayfield, this heartwarming film stars Richard Attenborough, Elizabeth Perkins, and Dylan McDermott, bringing holiday cheer to life. Just a friendly reminder, this review will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen this beloved holiday tale yet, you might want to watch it first. Get cozy, grab a cup of hot cocoa, and join me as we journey through the wonder, and timeless charm of Miracle on 34th Street. Now let's see how the Miracle on 34th Street did in the box office. Miracle on 34th Street opened in theaters on November 18th, 1994, with an undisclosed budget. During its 5-week domestic theatrical run, it earned a total of $17.3 million. Its opening weekend saw it earn $2.7 million domestically, finishing number 8 in the box office, behind the likes of Pulp Fiction, which finished at number 7, The Lion King, which finished at number 4, Santa Claus, which finished at number 3, Star Trek Generations, which finished at number 1 and also opened the same weekend. Its final week in theaters, which was the week before Christmas of 1994, saw it earn $1.2 million, finishing number 11 domestically. I was unable to find how it did weekly internationally, but it had an international box office of $28.9 million, bringing its worldwide total to $46.2 million. Now let's get into the plot. Prior to the Thanksgiving Day parade, Kohl's department store special events director Lori Walker fires Tony Falacci, an employee working as the store's Santa Claus, when the latter becomes intoxicated. Immediately trying to find a replacement, she spots an elderly man who had been berating Falacci and begs him to take over. The man introduces himself as Kris Kringle. Kris does so well during the parade that he is immediately hired by Kohl's, despite his apparent belief that he is the real Santa Claus. Kris is lauded by the children and parents come to visit him, and his unusual proclivity to direct shoppers to other stores where toys can be bought more cheaply is turned into a successful marketing campaign for Kohl's. Sudden turnaround of Kohl's, which had only recently survived a hostile takeover bid by Victor Lamberg, enrages executives at rival firm Shoppers Express, who are led by Jack Duff. Dory has persuaded her 6-year-old daughter Susan that Santa Claus does not exist, and is concerned by Chris's influence on her. Dory's neighbor, attorney Brian Bedford, does his best to convince Susan to believe. While being babysat one night by Kris, Susan shares with him her Christmas wish. He would like a dad, a house pictured in the Kohl's Christmas catalog, and a baby brother. Kris asks if she would begin to believe in Santa if she got all those things, and Susan agrees that she would. Lamberg and Duff realize that Kris believes himself to be Santa Claus and leads a plot to destroy his credibility. Duff and his fellow executives pay Falacci to antagonize Kris in the street and feign an injury when Kris raises his walking cane, leading to Kris's arrest. Brian provides Kris with legal support and arranges for a court hearing where Kris can make his case. Dory convinces the chairman of Kohl's to show solidarity with Kris, drumming up some support from the public. At the court hearing, prosecutor Ed Collins makes the case that Kris is mentally unfit for society, allowing him to state to the court that he is the real Santa Claus. That evening, Judge Henry Harper privately confides to Brian that despite Kris's genuine goodwill, he feels he has no choice but to declare him insane unless a miracle happens. The next morning, just before he can announce his ruling, Susan approaches the judge with a Christmas card containing a $1 bill. On the back, the words, "In God We Trust," are circled. The judge realizes that if the U.S. Department of Treasury can put its official faith in God on U.S. currency with no required standard of evidence, then the people of New York can place their faith in Santa Claus in the same way. Judge Harper dismisses the case, declaring that Santa is real, existing in the person of Kris Kringle. Following the court case, Dory and Brian are maneuvered by Kris into realizing their true feelings for each other and are married in a small ceremony after the Christmas Eve midnight mass. On Christmas morning, Susan wakes up to the news of the marriage and is elated to find that she has received one part of her Christmas wish. Together, Susan, Dory, and Brian drive out to the catalog house and find that Kris, who has now departed overseas, has arranged for them to purchase it, which they can now afford due to the size of Dory's Christmas bonus. With Susie's wishes fulfilled, Dory asks her what the third one was, and she triumphantly announces that it was a baby brother. Dory and Brian both look at each other, shocked, before glancing down at Dory's stomach and sharing a kiss. Now let's check out the cast and some other roles they've had. Richard Attenborough as Kris Kringle. Before his passing in August of 2014, other roles for Richard Attenborough include John Hammond in Jurassic Park, Sir William Cecil in Elizabeth, and the Visitor in E=MC². Elizabeth Perkins as Dory Walker. Other roles for Elizabeth Perkins include Bonnie O'Hare in Hop, Celia Hodds in the TV show Weeds, and Coral in Finding Nemo. Dylan McDermott as Brian Bedford. Other roles for Dylan McDermott include Clint Bergman in the TV show No Activity, Captain Dave in the TV show LA to Vegas, and Father in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. J.T. Walsh as Ed Collins. Before his passing in February of 1998, other roles for J.T. Walsh include Red Bar in Breakdown, Charles Bushman in Sling Blade, and Senator Mavros in Executive Decision. James Remar as Jack Duff. Other roles for James Remar include Henry Stimson in Oppenheimer, Peter Gamby in the TV show Black Lightning, and Harry Morgan in the TV show Dexter. Mara Wilson as Susan Walker. Other roles for Mara Wilson include Matilda Wormwood in Matilda, Natalie Hillard in Mrs. Doubtfire, and Jill Pill in the TV show BoJack Horseman. Robert Prosky as Judge Henry Harper. Before his passing in December of 2008, other roles for Rob Prosky include Father Wyman in The Skeptic, Lenny in the TV show Danny, and Lou Potts in Mad City. Jane Leeves as Alberta Leonard. Other roles for Jane Leeves include Ladybug in James and the Giant Peach, Daphne Moon in the TV show Frasier, and Kit Voss in the TV show The Resident. Simon Jones as Donald Shellhammer. Other roles for Simon Jones include Bannister in the TV show The Gilded Age, The Ghostly Image in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Terry Sloan in The Double Zone. William Wyndham as C.F. Cole. Before his passing in August of 2012, other roles for William Wyndham include Herb Radford in Yesterday's Dreams, Police Captain Hart in Dismembered, and Dr. Seth Hazlitt in the TV show Murder, She Wrote. Catherine Narducci as the mother. Other roles for Catherine Narducci include Carmine Burco in the TV show The Sopranos, Rosie and Capone, and Joanne Reed in To Redemption. Mary McCormick as Myrna Foy. Other roles for Mary McCormick include Andrea Baker in Deep Impact, Lily in 1408, and Willie Day in the TV show Heels. Alvin Greenman as the doorman. Before his passing in July of 2016, other roles for Alvin Greenman include Alfred in 1947's Miracle on 34th Street, Santa Claus in The Proud and the Profane, and Santa in the TV show Hearts of Fire. Allison Janney as the brazen woman shopper in Kohl's Christmas shopping center. Other roles for Allison Janney include Peach in Finding Nemo, Gladys in Over the Hedge, and Miss Grunion in Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Greg Noonan as Commander Coulson. Before his passing in January of 2007, other roles for Greg Noonan include Frank in Blink, the command post commander in The Package, and Martin in The Big Score. Vern Piven as Dr. Hunter. Before his passing in February of 2002, other roles for Vern Piven include Captain Merton and being John Malkovich, John Torrio in the TV show The Untouchables, and George Wallen in Madison. Peter Garrity as a cop. Other roles for Peter Garrity include Sal in K-Pax, Captain Coughlin in Inside Man, and Keith Brooks in Paul Blart Mall Cop. Jack McGee has Tony Falaci. Other roles for Jack McGee include George Ward in The Fighter, Captain Mike Sutton in the TV show Common Law, and Fat Lou in Drive Angry. Jennifer Morrison as Denise. Other roles for Jennifer Morrison include Dr. Allison Cameron in the TV show House, Emma Swan in the TV show Once Upon a Time, and Mindy in Big Stan. Horatio Sands as an orderly. Other roles for Horatio Sands include Raoul in 2021's Clifford the Big Red Dog, Wayne in the TV show Black Monday, and Duncan in Ralph Breaks the Internet. Ron Beatty as a priest. Other roles for Ron Beatty include the priest in Kissing a Fool and the press conference reporter in Rookie of the Year. Josh Ackland as Victor Landberg. Before his passing in November of 2023, other roles for Josh Ackland include Rufus in Decline of an Empire, King Arthur in A Kid in King Arthur's Court, and Hans in D3 The Mighty Ducks. Now, my thoughts. Mara Wilson at the age she was in this movie, which she was 7 at the time the movie was released, so I figure 6 maybe when they started filming. And such great chemistry involved with everybody. That very first scene she has with Dylan McDermott, phenomenal. Dylan McDermott is one of those actors you see in multiple movies where he plays a totally different character, yet he makes you forget about the other characters he's played and makes you focus on the character he's playing in the movie you're watching. Richard Attenborough was fantastic in this. Pretty wild to think that just a year prior to this, he was running a theme park with dinosaurs. I love seeing Kris Kringle use sign language with that little girl. It warmed my soul watching that scene, easily my favorite scene in the whole movie, and probably one of my favorite scenes in any Christmas movie. I loved the whole I Believe campaign that Coles did when Kris was set to appear in court. That was a very well written, I guess I could say, scene or few scenes or whatever you want to call it. There's something here for everybody. You want drama, you got the court case. You want romance, you got Dory and Brian. You want all around good to great acting, take your pick from Richard Attenborough, Mara Wilson, Elizabeth Perkins, and Dylan McDermott. It's one of those movies that anytime I see it on TV during Christmas time, I have to watch it, no matter how far into the movie it is when I see it. I do want to say this because I don't know when or what my next Mara Wilson movie will be, but it's crazy to think that within the first 3 years of Mara acting, she's been in movies with Robin Williams, Sally Field, Pierce Brosnan, Richard Attenborough, Dylan McDermott, Rhea Perlman, and Danny DeVito. Now let's look at some fun facts about this movie, which there's not very many, but I put down what I could find. Macy's declined the offer for its name to be used in the movie on account that it felt that the original stands on its own and cannot be improved upon. The department store was then renamed to Kohl's. The director of photography decided to put a light above each of the actors and actresses' head during all of the shots to give a distinct glow behind them. As this was popular in the 90s, it helped give a warm feel to the remake of a classic movie. In its original theatrical release, 20th Century Fox offered a full refund to any viewers who didn't enjoy the movie. And apparently 1,500 tickets were returned to the studio. Actress Elizabeth Perkins and cinematographer Julio Macat met on set and later got married in 2000. Simon Jones, who plays Shellhammer in this movie, is also credited as playing Shellhammer in Matilda. The first initial of each actor's Each of the actors playing an antagonist in this film is Jay. We got James Remar, who plays Jack Duff. Dane Leaves, who plays Alberta Leonard. J.T. Walsh, who plays Ed Collins. Josh Ackland, who plays Victor Landberg. And Jack McGee, who plays Tony Felici. Jamie, the deaf girl, who's played by Samantha Krieger, was actually deaf, one of three deaf siblings from deaf parents. Richard Attenborough asked for her not to be rehearsed for the scene, so the surprise on her face when he signed to her was genuine. Honestly, that's really awesome. And that wraps up our spoiler-filled review of 1994's Miracle on 34th Street here on Movies on the Brain. I hope you felt the same joy and wonder that this timeless story brings to the holiday season. If you enjoyed our journey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more heartwarming reviews and movie discussions. Share your thoughts on Miracle on 34th Street in the comments below. Thanks for joining me as we explore the magic and spirit of this beloved tale. Remember, sometimes the most real things in the world are the ones we can't see. Until next time, keep the faith and happy watching.